Okay guys, so welcome back to another demo. We will be creating this teapot, and there's actually a couple of ways of doing this project, and I think I'm going to go through both. Let's go through one technique, which is to kind of do a solid model and then edit. So I'm going to go to this cone. Actually, I'm going to go to the top view. I'm going to start at 0. And that seems like about a 5-inch. So let's go 4-inch and then 5-inch tall. Clearly that's not it. So I'm going to go 4-inch and about 7 inches tall. So, I mean, in general, if you can make your models out of primitive shapes, it's definitely easier. 0, 4-inch, and then 6-inch tall. Yes, that looks good. No, let's go 7-inch. That looks good. So now I have the solid model, right, which is a cone, which is very similar to this teapot here. And all I need to do is really just chop this. So I'm going to draw a line somewhere here. And I am going to split, right? So I'm going to take that and split. This is what I want to split, and I want to split it with this line. So now I have a top and a bottom. And now let's get a little sphere here for that little ball. I'm going to just take the end point there and hold down shift so I can go in a straight direction. Give it a ball there. And yeah, that looks totally acceptable to me, right? So we're almost there. So now we're going to go and make this handle, which should be relatively easy. So I'm going to draw a line. And I'm just going to use this endpoint as a reference, and then go to this intersection, come out, and then come down. So now, depending on where Rhino was snapping, this line could be kind of crazy in the 3D world, if you will. So let's take a look, and it's not. It's perfect. It's just right where I want it to be. So now I'm going to trim this line because I made it kind of long, kind of on purpose to make sure that it was going to stay along this curve. And do that. And it is one polyline, thankfully, so I could offset. And in this case, what I want to do is I want to do a cap. You'll see what I mean. So when I offset to a flat, and the distance I want, I'm not sure what I want, so let's just go real thin, 125. Bring it to the inside, and you'll see that it actually created a kind of a polyline already for me. So that saves me a little bit more time, because now I can come in here and I can extrude this. So we'll go extrude curve. Oop. I'm going to go back, extrude curve, right there. And I want both sides solid, yes, so that way I can extrude it both ways. And I really only want to extrude it a 1/4 inch or so, right? Or maybe it should be thicker, I don't know. But you guys get my point there. So there you go. And now the toughest part will be to creating this little beak. So what I'm going to do, let me see, what shall I do here? I feel like it's just really a triangle that's coming straight down. So I'm going to come up here and I will create a three-sided polygon, and I'll do something like that. And I'll extrude. And kind of jam it in here. It's probably something. It's going to be underneath this lip, so I'm going to make sure I'm definitely under that line. Maybe stretch it out a little bit. Oh, I think it's going to be a little bit longer. Something like that. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So not too bad. It's not really aligned to the center here. I think this is the guy that I want. So I'll just kick it off to the side really, and then I'll try to align everything. Or actually I can align it to 0. Alright guys, so now I'm gonna actually want to align it to this kind of my x-axis, or the red axis. So I'm just gonna actually do a move command in this case and pick the midpoint and put it to 0. And then I'll go to the front view here and kind of position the beak. Oop. I'm going to just move it in this, and I definitely want to keep it lower than the top lip there, and I want this part to be hidden, so I'll bring that in. Take a look at that in 3D. Okay, so I think the beak feels a little bit narrow, so I'm going to take this and scale it in the green direction. Yeah, it feels a little bit better. And then now this is sticking out too much. So come in here, hold down Shift and Control, reduce the size of that a little bit so it's hidden. Oops. Get it buried in there. So that feels good. So now let's do some cutting and editing. So let me hide these guys so you guys can kind of see what's happening here. Go to hide. So you can see this is a solid surface. Is it a solid? No, it's not a solid. It's a hollow surface, and this is a solid surface. So what you need to do is, in order for us to be able to do Boolean, you need to make this a solid. So we're going to cap that. So now it's a solid. And then see how this one is combined inside? But now if we do a Boolean union, it'll get rid of that and it'll all just be one piece, which is what we want. And let's see if this will work. But we're going to do a shell command and blow this open and blow that open. Shell, take that and that, and the thickness 125, which is probably kind of too thick. Let me go 0.1, enter. So it gave me some errors because I kind of was pushing it, but it's exactly what we wanted, which is a little hole through that. So there you have it. So you have your little teapot now. And then type show to show everything else, and yeah, I think that looks actually pretty good. So let's put some material in it. I think everything's in the default layer. I'm going to go to new material and import from material library. So Rhino comes with a lot of different materials. So we're going to go to metal, polished, and let's go to maybe, let's try copper. So this would be copper, and if we go to render view, there you go. You're getting this line because there is a kind of a light source at the top. So, but if you had other models, it'll reflect it and it will look much better. But let's see if we can get something different too. Because right now, that's looking pretty. It's a little bit too glossy. So I'm going to go to satin. Let's go to satin copper. So it's not as reflective. There you go. So anyhow, here you go with the Teapot demo. It was actually a little bit more advanced. Anyway, have fun, guys. We'll see you next time.